second time, but I ain't going back to restart it. So during his murder trial, I'm doing the third. So during his murder trial, prosecutors presented to an interview Gibson had given the investigators upon his arrest, during which he claimed that evil had become him and made him commit the murder. And on October 25th, 2013, Gibson had found guilty of Liddy's murder at a jury trial, with the jurors taking less to find him guilty of all charges. At the sentencing the following month, Gibson was subsequently handed a death sentence, which he told the sentencing judge that it was no big deal and that he deserved what he was getting. In regard of his upcoming murder trial, he changed his plea and waived his rights to a speedy trial, choosing to plead guilty to horrendous murder instead. And part of a deal was decide, decide that evidence presented to Horella's trial would not be used as evidence or an or an abrogating factor in trials. And subsequently, you issue arose when Gibson had a tattoo done to the back of his head shaved, which said Death Row X3. According to Justice Susan Oath, the tattoo could prejudice the jury but and possibly prevent the fair trial and become of the prison authorities were forbidden or cutting Gibson's hair, so the tattoo could be covered up. At the final murder trial, Gibson unexpectedly pleaded guilty again, waiving his right to a jury trial. In spite of the guilty plea, prosecutors pushed for another death sentence, aiming to prove aggravatingly factors during the commission. The Kirk murders. On August 15, 2014, Gibson was sentenced to death again, with sentencing just deeming that it was the only appropriate sentence in regards of the brutal killing. Oh, well, here's the aftermath. I don't know, because I don't want this cut off. So, in incarceration, Gibson would repeatedly appeal the death sentence, which the defense lawyer claiming that his confessions of Kirk murders was mitigating circumstances. These appeals were rejected by the Indiana Supreme Court, which reaffirmed all of his convictions. In 2018, he was among Silver Death Row inmates featured in a documentary Inside Death Row. The documentary Inside Death is called Inside Death Row, hosted by British journalist Trevor McDonald. Gibson was also done Silver interviews and Verdi broadcast on